This is ESBR Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Boxers Savage Dan. Dan, good to be joined by you as always. Not sure how many times you've been to Cardiff, how well you know the city, but yeah, just thoughts on the press conference today. Obviously, we are in a football stadium, nice weather, lots of media here. Just thoughts on the event.
I love it, man. I love when we do pressers at football stadiums. We did one. Our first ever one actually was at St James's Park, and Coventry City. We had one. Now we've got one here, Cardiff, and I just see the grass, and I've got my boots in my car, and it just makes me want to get on the pitch and just spray a 60-yard ball. But no, I think it was a good presser. I think by this point we know pretty much what's going to be said. We know what's at stake. It's Lauren's 7th fight. It's a world title. It's a Ring Magazine title. It doesn't get any bigger than this. And it's, you know, the weather's come out for us. Cardiff is. I like this place. I do. I've only been there a few times. Obviously, we were here last time for a fight. We were here for Eubank Williams. Yeah. We know what that arena can get like and what it will be like on Saturday night. It's going to be a cauldron, and let's just see how Jessica McCaskill can deal with the pressure.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be lots of proud Welsh people shouting on Saturday night. One question on the main event. Lauren Price is a strong favourite. Some people will say maybe she shouldn't be if you consider what Jessica McCaskill's achieved in the sport. Lauren Price hasn't really had many fights. Your thoughts on Lauren Price being such a strong favourite?
I'm not sure how strong of a favourite she is to the bookies. I haven't had a look at that. I know she is the favourite, and I do think it's dangerous because you write off someone like Jessica McCaskill who's been there and done it, and you can find yourself in some muddy waters very quickly. You know, she's been in there with big names already. She dethroned Cecilia Brackos. She's got the Ring Magazine championship. She is a world champion. We talk about the thousands of Welsh fans that will be in there, but she's probably seen this before, and the occasion won't get to her. As for Lauren, this will be, you know, a bit of a pinching moment. You know, she would have thought about this from the moment she turned pro, or maybe even the moment she went onto the GB squad. You know, you want a headline in your home city for a world championship. That's what it's all about, and we're yet to see, as a 7-fight novice, basically, how she deals with the occasion. You know, it's a great honour to headline in your home city, but it's also a huge responsibility and a lot of pressure on your shoulders. And how will she deal with it as well? There's still a few questions there. We all know Lauren well enough to know not much bothers her anyway. She walks around just kind of with that kind of demeanour. She's like, nothing bothers her. I hope it's like that on Saturday night, but the dressing rooms are, you know, and it's a place where sometimes fights are won and lost, so she's got to stay in that kind of demeanour where it's just another fight with another opponent, with, yes, more at stake, but it's the same thing she's been doing for all these years.
Yeah, well, just a massive main event for the people of Wales and just people of boxing in general. Obviously it's a big fight between Lauren Price and Jessica McCaskill on Saturday night, so we will see what happens. Only 2 days to go now. There's just one undercard fight I just wanted to touch on with you, Dan. Hughie Fury was here today. He's obviously fought for a world title in the past, operated at a high level, had that massive period of inactivity. Honestly, do you think he can get back into that kind of like that top 10 heavyweight mix?
I think so. He's got the name and kind of the status to do it. Do you still have the hunger? I guess is going to be the main one. This is his second fight in just a few weeks, so it shows that he wants to kind of re-kickstart his career. Inactivity, it harms fighters. We all know that. And you know, it's hard to be the best version of yourself in the ring if you're not in that ring often. So he's going to want to get back to where he was. You know, he was competing for world titles. He's been in there with some of the biggest names, and some of those fighters have stayed up there, and you know, and because of it, they're reaping the rewards. And he needs to come back now and show that he's still got the same hunger, or more hunger, more desire. Some layoffs work better for fighters. You know, we're yet to see how it really affects him, and sometimes you don't really see how it affects you until you're in a fight where it is a bit of an acid test. So hopefully he gets through Saturday night and then on to another one. And you want to be active. You know, if he can get back in the mix, it won't take Hughie long. It will take him a few fights, and hopefully he's back at that top table.
Brilliant. A couple of questions outside of the event, if that's okay, Dan. One thing I'm really interested to get your opinion on. We saw Canelo fight over the weekend. Inoue fought, I think it was a day and a half later. Usyk and Tyson Fury is around the corner. Crawford fights August the 3rd. There's lots of debate happening right now about who is the pound for pound number one. Some people like pound for pound lists, some people don't. Do you have an opinion on who you think the pound-for-pound fighter is at the moment?
I'd probably go Crawford. Inoue has every right. The problem with pound for pounds list is whoever's fought most recently has the advantage. Inoue just won and looked good doing it, even though he got dropped. And immediately, because that's fresh in your memory, as soon as the Ring Magazine go to update their pound for pound, he's going to be fresh in their memories. And maybe the Crawford's last win wasn't as great as what we thought. And it's just, we're boxers or we're boxing fans, and everyone's a prisoner at the moment. And I'm not a huge fan of it, but I would still have it as Crawford. I think he's in a very, very difficult fight, up at 154 now. And yeah, I would still have it as him, regardless of when his last fight was.
Appreciate you being so honest in that. A lot of people don't really want to give an answer to that question, so I appreciate you being so honest, Dan. I've got one final question. I asked you, I think it was at the Boatsi Aziz press conference at Wembley, beginning of February, so over 3 months ago, about Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk. I think, if I remember correctly, you were edging towards Tyson Fury. With 1 week to go now, there's not long to go. I'm sure you've kind of been asked this question many times. Where is your head at with 1 week to go?
I'm sticking. I like to stick with where I was. As we get closer to fights, I usually have a little wobble. What if? But I've learned that my kind of initial thoughts are usually the correct ones. I've heard good things about Tyson Fury in camp, which is weird because you always hear some whispers saying that he's not looking so good in camp as well. I'm going to go with the ones that say he is looking good and he is looking fit and he is looking focused. And I think if you get a Fury that is fit, focused, mentally there, spiritually there, then even if a really good Usyk turns up on a night, I think he still has a bit too much for him. He's huge. He can box southpaw. He can box on the back foot and front foot. And he's flipping 19, 20 stone, whatever he is. So for me, that's just a bit too much of a tall order stylistically for Usyk. What I will say is I think we get a boring fight.
Yeah.
I think this is one for the purists. I don't think we're going to get, huge drama throughout the fight. I think this is going to be where they both try to land the clever shots because they realise that this is the type of fight where each round could be won with one backhand. So I think they'll be cagey and cautious, and I don't think it'll just be for 3 rounds. I think they'll be quite cagey and cautious for the whole duration, all 36 minutes.
So do you think Fury will fight dirty?
I think he'll fight clever. That dirty thing is a bit weird for me because I get it if you're kicking someone in the balls and you're hitting them behind the back of the head and stuff like that, but there are some dirty tactics that are just quite clever tactics. You tire them up. If I'm a couple stone heavier than you, if you fall in, I'm going to lean on you. Just little things that maybe sap you more than they sap me. I would try and do those because it's a fight at the end of the day, and every advantage I have, I've got to use it against you. So yeah, I think he fights to his advantage. I don't think you want to make it too pure, and if you start doing things that makes the fight kind of lean towards Usyk, then what's the point? Why would you do that? You may as well use your attributes. So yeah, I guess the answer yes, maybe he does fight dirty, but it's a fight.
Savage, Dan, as always, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks, Dan.